Okay, hello family, it's Dr. Leah. I'm here live on this Sunday afternoon, and what's up? Okay, this is going to be a very interesting session in my opinion. Okay, um, I don't want to hold you guys, I don't like to hold you guys captive, so I try and get to the actual topic as quickly and as effectively as possible. Okay, so I'm going to do that first. And then after I do that, I'll bring you guys up to speed on what's going on. Now, first of all, I want to say to anyone who logged in to my last video, I uploaded a video earlier this week. Well, today is Sunday, so it's the first day. But less than 7 days ago, I uploaded a video. And I think it was called uh, Janet, Michael, John Singleton, and Me, or something like that. However, I took it off. Some people saw it, but I took it off and I put it on Patreon because it had some really um, intimate things on there. And I will put the Patreon situation contact in the link. And I explained to you guys why I had to do that. And if for whatever reason I can't get the Patreon situation in the link area or in the description area, I'll figure out a way to get it to you. In the meantime, that video is on Patreon, and some videos are going to be on Patreon from now on because of its content. YouTube won't allow me to put it there. So that's the first thing. Well, actually, that's the second thing. I'm going to work in the other direction. Um, I want to say thank you so much. You know, it's amazing how this whole video is going to work itself out because how to get wealthy, but you won't be willing to do what it is so working together in my thank yous because I want to thank you all for being so kind and generous because I don't charge to do anything, not readings, not loving you, not teaching you, not sharing information with you, none of that. But people still go on to Google Pay and help. They go to the Cash App and they've gone to PayPal and they have been so generous. Some people come and just sit and watch and they don't, contribute, which is fine. I love you still. Other people really do appreciate what it is that I do. Hi, Jonathan Crawford. How are you doing? Oh, great, wonderful. I'm doing well, thank you. And so some people just don't, and it's okay. And then some people really are generous and they contribute because, you know, we don't get anything, for taking our time out to do this, do anything, and some people do, I explained to you all how most, YouTubers or ladies or men, gentlemen do this. But I just want to thank you all for being so generous. For those of you who have contributed, I don't want to call any names because it's a very personal thing, and I really appreciate it. So that's basically what I wanted to say. And please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you guys want to continue to see me here on this platform because YouTube, as I explained, has different guidelines. I know this part is boring, but I have to say it because if I don't, I won't be here. Okay. One thing that I want to say also is that I was going to, I sent the bracelets. They should be to you sometime next week. And I fasted and did the more bracelets that I'm sending out. And I have to cleanse them to get ready for another, new moon. So I figured, why not share that experience with you while I go through my lesson, which is going to be extremely, extremely interesting. I even have my easel here to help me. But I'm going to show you guys how I do it. Okay, so I'm going to show you, and then they're going to cleanse while I lecture. You can call it that. Okay, the first thing you want to do when you're doing something like this is you have to have like a candle situation. This is a special cup because it belonged to my great grandmother uh, on my mother's side. And when she passed away, we all went to Mississippi, and my mother got some stuff for us, and the candles in there. And we connect with our ancestors. So you always want to have something that connects you with that person or the ancestors near you. Okay, so that's what this is. So I'm gonna take that out. Okay, and I'm gonna put it in. This is like it broke. My mommy knocked the table off, but it's still good. It's still great. It still has its energy, and you want to put a candle. It could be like those little tea candles, but this started off, a long one, and again, it was only about this long. But you don't want to like uh, light candles and leave them, so it won't hurt anything. It won't take away from what you're doing if you stop the burn and then go back. It won't make a difference. Okay, so because I have this type of a cigarette lighter here, I can put the candle down in here. And you see this little window here? You can go in there too. Okay, so that it won't move around. It's always good to, hit the bottom of it first. Yeah, you guys can see me. I'm in a very tight space, guys, because I had to get here in a place where I wouldn't have to move the camera. Dang it, when I get ready to do my lecture. So let me hit it here. I think maybe I'll go to the top. Okay. Just a little. I think I need some oil, y'all. I'm gonna just relax and let it be what it is. When I say be what it is, I mean not try and rush, because I didn't plan on necessarily doing this on camera. But I said, why not let them see what I'm doing? Oh, rather than just talking about it. So that's what that's about. And always remember, if all else fails, always keep some matches around you. That's just common sense. I haven't used this in a minute. And hey, where are my matches at? Okay, anyway, so I'll keep talking while I'm looking for my matches. So I'm in this tight little space, y'all. And I wanted to make sure that you guys could share the experience with me while I cleanse the what do you call it? The witchamajig. It's the while I cleanse the bracelets. I wanted you guys to share that with me. And one of the things that I need for this process is charcoal. It seems like a lot, but it's really not. And can you guys imagine the thing that I'm having the most difficulty with is fuego, Spanish for fire. And you got to have that, and you have to have sage. Sage can come in two forms. It can come like this. It can come, not two forms. Sage can come all manner of ways, but usually it can come wrapped like this. It can come like this. And it's basically a very, very small little piece of sage that you can get. This is going to be really, really one of them things, y'all. I'm going to get a match. Jonathan, you keep everybody busy while I'm gone. Ugh. Coming, y'all. Give me a minute. Okay, black and white family. The girl's back. Okay. Back to my cigarette lighter. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, guys, you have to make sure your area is cleansed. Light my candle here. Hit it on the bottom. And then I need to go in the window. Make sure you got a ready wick. Okay. Then after you make sure you got a ready wick, you have to make sure that you have your. This costs $5.99 from the bodega store, and you got me thinking. And then you put this is like this sandalwood. That's the fragrance. Believe it or not, that's actually they also have like what they call frankincense, like what they talk about in the Bible, frankincense and myrrh. They have that fragrance. That's really popular. Um, they say that the Orishas like that. I'll explain what Orishas are in a minute. But that's what they say. And when you're doing it, you just have to make sure that you take. It's not anything that can be done quick. You make sure that you're doing something that, or you're not. Just know that you're not doing something that can really be done on the run, because it takes time, and a lot of care and whatnot. And you need to make sure that you got to be patient. You know what I'm saying? These are good too. These hold them, like to make sure that they don't fall, so they're in a stable situation and whatnot. And these are good too. Like little, somebody gave me this one. It's a fragrant kind of a deal. And I don't know why this isn't working, because I basically just bought it. But hey, I guess you know what they say: what you don't use, you lose, kind of deal. So anyway, so you want to make sure that you're doing it at the right time for whatever it is you're petitioning for. And I gave you guys the petition hours when I told you what times. That's like maybe I re-uploaded that video because I figured some people would like be a little bit unclear on what would be a good time to do it and what video it was. So I made sure that I re-uploaded it. And when I re-uploaded it, a lot of people had questions about it. So I just felt like it would be a good idea to do it over again. And I always make sure that I work with this. This is just like a tongs, so that when stuff gets going, I don't have a problem with what do you call it, with like the charcoal. It's like it's the same concept of when you're barbecuing, but they're smaller. I'll show them to you what they look like outside of the package. But yeah, you just need to make sure that you just have time, that you're not doing it, on the run, so to speak, because it takes time to get it just right. And believe it or not, the Orishas know, the ancestors know when you rush, and you don't want to do that anyway. So, and it doesn't have to necessarily be it doesn't have to be sandalwood. It doesn't have to be what they call what's that stuff? It doesn't have to be frankincense and myrrh. It doesn't have to be that. It can. I mean, whatever you like. It could be. Nowadays they have the different uh, incense fragrances, and they basically have the different ones. And you put that there. This right here comes with this. You guys know how this works. I mean, you don't have to know about this to know that. Remember you said exactly anything, Bradley, 4 to 5. But I think I explained it about the Russian about the roulette table in Vegas. The roulette table in Vegas is the best way to understanding it. And then the candle burns, and then you take this. Obviously, you guys know. Put this inside, and then you get your little fragrance going, some sweet, savory aroma. Once you get that going, and then you take your charcoal and okay, I'm gonna open a new one. I have like a whole box. Let me show you guys. It came with a box of 38 of these. And guys, look how many I've used so far. A bunch. So anyway, you take these, and like I said, it's the same concept as when you're, barbecuing in a pit. So you got to be careful. If you're a dude, you probably don't care. But if you're a lady, you don't want to get your hands dark. So my nails are white. So I just grab it, put it down in there. But before you put let me show you why you need tongs. This is why you need tongs. Now, generally, even when you hold this kind of a lighter down, y'all, like this chick is still trying. When you hold this type of a lighter down, it'll go out anyway. But make sure you got to be really careful, and these things really need to be monitored. And don't walk away. I mean, you can go to the bathroom and come back, but don't try to like bathe or anything unless you can see it. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys. I'm just lighting it on the side here, and it's gonna spark like sparkles on the 4th of July. That's how you know it's caught, that it's catching. So I'm gonna. So once you make sure that it's caught, I used to do something else, guys, to make sure that I'm turning on the other side. You see it's sparkling? Isn't that cool? I'm gonna do it on the other side. And just be safe. So once it starts to do that, you know that it's caught. It's like like Easy Light. It's actually for this process. So you take it and just lay it down in your little situation, in your little incense deal. And generally, I like to wait for the smoke to like cease, so that the smoke doesn't get commingled with my incense smoke. You see how it's not keeping up the noise anymore, but it's burning. Okay, so I could use this one. I don't want to have to deal with the string, the red string. This has a string on it too, but it's a little easier. So I'm gonna take this one. It's just sage, okay? And then I'm going to break a little piece off. You could light the whole thing, but I don't want to do that because it's very strong and I don't want the smoke to take the off. So I'm just gonna take a little. You don't need a lot. Just a little piece off and drop it on top, and you'll see the smoke. Well, the incense going up. Can you guys see it? Okay. It doesn't really show up much on camera, but in person, it's like massive, right? Okay. So once you get that situation going and you got your little fragrant incense going on back there that you can smell, I usually take something, I'll take one of the, I'll just open up one. Because each one of these, believe it or not, are designated for a specific person. But let me tell you what's so dope, okay? Like I told you, I have to be extremely mindful that I get the right kind because they're selling all kinds of bogus ones on the internet. But I thought it was so dope that I wanted to show you guys. Randomly, well, not randomly because I don't believe in coincidences. You guys can see there the top number over the bar, underneath the barcode. I don't know if you can make that out. I'll tell you what, right there. The number is 11057, and 11057 is 9. And not all of them have 9, but I thought it was just so dope. So if you get one with 9, hey. But anyway, so make sure you guys look at it when you get them. See if you're one of the 9 people. But anyway, so I take this and I hold it over. You can either hold it with your hand. They've already been blessed. I need to see the clean. Or you can hold them with something just to make sure that they get cleansed out. Okay, I did most of them already. They're already out of the packs and stuff. But anyway, so what I'm going to do, guys, is basically let these that are here on the altar get cleansed. And while they're doing that, I will go into how to get wealthy really quick and easy because, again, I don't like to hold you guys hostage. So I'm just going to say that really quick and then I'll go into the rest of it. I do not like to do that. That's one of the reasons why I don't watch TV anymore. Because, you watch a program and, you're supposed to be watching the highlight. They used to do that. Remember I told you guys with the awards, award shows, American Music Awards, the Grammys, they would say the piece de resistance, which would be Michael Jackson or somebody, they do them last. But things have changed now. Like if they have like Beyonce or somebody, they do them first. And I just don't want to hold you guys, hostage. If you want to get that information and go, I want you to be free to do that. But if you want to stay and get fed, that's even better. But anyway, at any rate, here's the thing. I told you all about deceit versus lie, and that they cannot lie to you, right? Okay. Let me tell y'all. When you read scriptures and all down through history, they've always said that you tied a tenth of an ephah, which would be a tenth or 10% of your salary, 10% of your bread, 10% of everything you have. That's what it says in the Bible. And then you'll get the field back. You'll get everything back. Okay, y'all. This is how it really goes. Oh, Bradley, you're so sweet. Okay, here's how it really goes. They say in church or whatever it is, you give 10% of your income, and then you're supposed to get it back from the universe. They say God, tomato, you're supposed to get it back, right? Okay, well, here's the thing. It's not 10%. In Hebrew, when you read it, it says ephah. It says you give an ephah. Ephah means part. That's what the word means in English. It translates from ephah, translates to part. So that's not a lie. But most people don't know what an ephah is. If you don't know what an ephah is, that's on you. Thank you, Jonathan. Bless you too, sweetheart. And don't forget about the word bless. May you be elevated. Okay, not be less. We always learn, and it's all good. So, with a part, they kept messing with it and made it seem like it's a tenth. It's not a tenth. If you give, you are not supposed to give a tenth. This is how it really goes. You're supposed to give literally 50%. You're supposed to give half, literally half of every single thing that you incur. If you give half, you will get the abundance. I mean the abundance, and I'm going to prove it to you. Once you make, first of all, every Fortune 500, Forbes Corporation, billionaire, millionaire on the planet, once you make a certain amount of money, the more money you make, the more they go up in your taxes, right? The more they take out, right? Okay. Once you make a certain amount of money, you get into what tax bracket? The highest tax bracket you can get into, which is the 50% tax bracket. Okay? I don't know if you guys recall this or not, but VH1, not many years ago, but a good while ago, they did a special on TLC. And Lisa Left Eye Lopez said, I'm going, and if anybody remembers this, chime into the comments, please. She said, I'm going to show you how a group can sell 1 million records and be broke. And she did the math, and she said, once we made so many million, that put us in the 50% tax bracket. She said, so that immediately cut it down to half, and then we had to split what was left, and then she broke it down. Now, the point that I'm talking about was when she said we were in the 50% tax bracket, and that automatically cut it in half. When it cuts it down to the 50% tax bracket, that means that even if you don't want to, you're going to incur the blessing. Because once they take it, that's the reason why they take 50%. Because the powers that be on this planet know that secret, which is that, well, not really it's a secret as long as you don't know it. They know that once they take or give that 50%, and they don't have to worry about it because 99% of the people on the planet aren't making that type of money. But they do that so that they get it back. And I was telling somebody this who's a Christian, he and I were talking, and he told me something. I can't remember what the terminology is, but he said, I know a lot of people who give the abundance, and giving the abundance means they give the 90 and they keep 10. And when they give the 90 and they keep 10, he said he's seen people get way, way blessed. And then, but the thing of it is that they may be getting blessed, or they may be getting sustenance, but it's not because they're giving 90%. The universe doesn't work like that, okay? It's just like if you have a recipe and sugar is sweet, and the recipe calls for a cup of sugar, and you said, oh, sugar's good, it's positive, I'm going to put 3 cups of sugar. You ruin your meal, you ruin the dish, right? You have to do exactly what it says, or you get something different. You can't go over the top. And I've explained to you, the Bible is coded. That's why it says that Solomon said, don't be over righteous. That means don't go over the policy. Don't go over the spell. Don't go over the petition, because if you do, it won't work. There's no such thing as doing more. More is not better. More is incorrect. Okay, there's no such thing as more. There's it. Okay, so if you do more, you just canceled out what you're trying to do. Like you cancel out the recipe. If you give, but see, here's the thing. The reason why I say that this is like the calmest I've ever been since I've ever done a video. But anyway, the thing of it is this. The reason why I wrote the way that you can become wealthy, but you won't do it, is because not only does it take the faith and the belief to give 50%, some people, it's not that they don't have 50%, because according to the universe, And even the Bible, even the man who gives alms, even those who give alms must give alms. In other words, even the man who lives off charity, if somebody gives him a nickel, he has to give 2.5 cents. Okay? So everybody has 50%. But the reason why I say you won't do it is because not only does it take faith, but it also requires, can I function? Can I function on half? Meaning, if you make $2,000 a month and your rent is $1,000 a month, or let's say 1,500, if you make $2,000 a month, this is hypothetical, and your rent is 1,500, and you have to give half, you give 1,000, you got 1,000 left. You don't even have the money for your rent, let alone everything else, right? So it's like a person's thinking, I don't have time for the universe to give me back the abundance. I don't have that type of time. Okay. But because you've never done it before, you don't know how the universe operates, the way it does what it does. But you're literally supposed to give half. If you give 50%, it will come back. They don't want you to know that secret. That is the most coveted secret on the planet in the realm of giving, receiving, and incurring money. Okay? I have not held you hostage. That is it. Point blank, period. That's it on that one. Okay? So, before I go into the lecture, I have two questions. One, does anyone remember that VH1 TLC on the TLC tip with that her explaining the 50% thing? If you don't, it's fine. And the second thing is, I had another question. For you people who are just coming into the chat, please know that I will be uploading. I said it at the top of the hour that I'll be doing things on Patreon because on how to get manifest and get money fast, how to get love fast, how to do everything really quick, but I can't do it on YouTube. It's just too deep. But anyway, that was the one thing. How to get the money. Okay, if it's that important, I'll bring it back. However, I want to say I'm extremely overwhelmed by all the things that are happening in our planet right now when it comes to this COVID-19 and whatnot, because two people in my immediate family, not including my god brother, two people in my immediate family have contracted COVID-19. Okay, people who I've been really close to. Okay, I just found out that my uncle currently has it, and he's like a dad to me. And he and I had a small disagreement, and I told you guys, horrible things happen to people that do things to me. And he didn't lie on me, but he lied about something that was concerning the two of us. And it's concerning, and he told that lie with a straight face. And I love him so much. He's like a dad to me. When he told that lie, I felt like, oh my God, why would you do that? Because I know something's going to happen, right? So now look where we are. Now I got to fast for this clown so he won't die or something terrible won't happen to him. And then I'll be feeling all messed up. And not just because I'll be feeling guilty, but I love him, and I can't make things not happen to people. I can't make them not happen. They happen, but I hope I can make them not progressively get worse, not get progressively worse. I just real. So hopefully, it's just, I don't understand people. But anyway, this planet is extremely warped. And I'm going to tell you guys something that I kept coveted. I didn't tell anyone what I'm about to tell you all. I didn't tell anybody. And the reason why I didn't tell anybody is because it was confided to me. And it didn't seem, I wasn't even making, I just didn't tell anybody. Let's just leave it at that. And I felt like, like, wow, I can't believe that Dick Gregory was confiding certain information to me. And I was like, how do you know? I think I've said this before. I asked him, how do you know you can trust me? And he was like, if I can't read somebody by now, I'm in trouble, And the only reason why I'm telling it now, and because it's not really telling if somebody else already revealed it first. Okay? So I'm going to show you guys the footage, and then I'm going to elaborate on it after I show it. Now, let's just get this clear before we go any further. I did not reveal this. Mike Tyson revealed this, not me. Mike Tyson, okay? And let me go to it. Okay, make sure the volume is up in it. Okay, listen very closely because I don't know what the audio will be like. Here we go.
Schmuck, because when I'm a schmuck, I'm a half a schmuck, all right? So that's why I say schmuck, so it's just a half a schmuck. So I got on the phone, and he said, I took drugs, I got weak, and I'm going to come back and fight, and I'm going to come back and be home. And then I'm crying because I'm a schmuck guy, and I said, when I get big, I'm going to get them for you.
Okay. I played it for you. I'm going to break it down, and then I'm going to play it for you again. I'm going to set the stage for us. What happens is this. Muhammad Ali comes out of retirement to fight Larry Holmes, who at that time is the heavyweight champion of the world, I believe. So he fights Larry Holmes, and he's old. He's, he's out of gas. So in all honesty, he's not even fighting Muhammad Ali. He's not even fighting Muhammad Ali. He's fighting an old man. But he's not fighting Muhammad Ali, that we know, So anyway, he loses the fight. Ali loses the fight. And Mike Tyson is extremely upset about this. And at the time, he's 14 years old. So at that time, he was living with Cus D'Amato, his adopted father. And Muhammad Ali's birthday is January 17th. Cus D'Amato's birthday is January 17th. Now, as I told you all, Michael is a very powerful name. That's the reason they made Martin Luther King change his name, okay? Because they couldn't have his name. His name was Martin King, okay? They couldn't have him called Michael King because that would say, who is like God, King, okay? That's what it would mean when you translate the Hebrew to English. Who is like God? That's what Michael means, King. So anyway, I don't want to get too far off. So the day, not even 24 hours after the fight, they fight that night. The following morning, Ali calls Cus D'Amato. Now, the reason why I brought up their birthdays are January 17th, which is also, I believe, Ali's birthday. The reason why is because if you add up the numbers, January is 1, and the day is 17. If you add them both up, 1, 1, 7, 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 7 is 9. That's a powerful divine number. So that means that even before, and Cus D'Amato never got married. So that means even before they get with their helpmate, helping them to become a 9 in the divine 9, they were divine even before, thanks Bradley, they were divine even before, without anyone, without any help. They came into this universe. They came into the planet as a 9. That's a very powerful person. 7 would be a very powerful person because it's completion. I'm a 7, 4, 3, 8, 3rd. So here we go. He calls Cus D'Amato, and Mike Tyson is eavesdropping on the conversation. And he says, hey, Cus says, hey, Ali, I can't believe you let that bum beat up on you. He's a bum. He's this, he's that. I can't believe you lost to that bum. And he's just going on and on. So Cus told Ali he had a kid there, a black kid there who was 14 years old, who was Mike Tyson, and he would be the champion, the heavyweight champion, the youngest, and a heavyweight champion of the world if he just did every single thing that Cus said, right? So Cus told Ali, I want you to talk to this young man, which was Tyson. So Tyson says that he got on the phone and he was crying because he was so upset that Ali had lost. And he said Ali told him that he had taken drugs and it made him weak. Okay? So I had never heard that in the public before. Okay? But Dick told me that Ali had a very bad cocaine problem. I was shocked because that's just not something that I would think about Ali, because he seemed like he just had it so together, especially the way that they portrayed him in the movie Ali. I know it's just a movie, but the way he came down on Bundini Brown when he was on the drugs, you know. So I'm going to play it again for you and tell you why this is important about Ali and the cocaine. So that I'm playing it again just to make it clear that I'm not the one who said it. He said it. And as long as he said it, I'm good. Listen, y'all.
I'm crying. I'm 15. I'm crying, and he told me that I took drugs and I got weak, and then I said, and I'm a smuck because I say.
Okay, that's Tyson at Caesar's Palace. Okay, now y'all, here's the thing. The powers that be hated Ali because he was a man of God, and they hated Ali because they couldn't control him, and they hated Ali because they felt like he was arrogant and he talked too much. So they didn't do like they do most people and say, and just kill him. Because I explained to you guys, as long as you got that unilateral relationship with the creator, they can't get you. That's why I always make it clear how convoluted things can get if you're on drugs. Because if somebody hears you're on drugs, and that's something that's in the public, if you come up dead, they can easily say you overdosed. Who wouldn't believe it? Why wouldn't they believe it? You would believe it, but if you know this person does not drink, does not smoke, doesn't do, that they don't do that kind of thing, you know for a fact that that person didn't do that, and it's difficult for them to sell it. Now that guy, what's his name? The gray-haired guy that I can't think of his name. The Jewish guy that went to, if somebody knows, you could pop his name up in the comments. The Jewish guy that went to jail, to prison not long ago because he was having sex with the young girls, and he came up dead. No, but right before Harvey Weinstein went to prison, and he came up. They said that he hung himself in his cell, and his family had an independent autopsy done. And when the autopsy came back here recently, I think it was like last week, the autopsy came back and said that because of the 3 bones that were broken in his neck, he could not have hung himself, that someone did that to him. Okay? Not all of us are in a position to be able to have that kind of thing done. Now, Epstein. Thank you, Bradley. Epstein came back and did all these different things, and came up dead in his cell. Okay? Now, if something happened to the average person, they don't have the wherewithal to hire an independent person to come in and do an autopsy and come back with, unofficial findings. You know what I mean? Now, on to Ali. With Ali was the greatest, okay? And what happened was when he was boxing, he got on cocaine. And they didn't want to kill him. That wasn't their thing. Their thing was shut the F up. We're going to, shut you up. So what they did was, and see, that's another thing. When you have a dependency, oh my God, that's why they call it that. It's you can't be independent, and if you can't be independent, you're always in a place physically and a place psychologically where somebody is holding your fate in their hands. Okay, when it comes to that kind of thing, and I'm sure he found himself in places that he would not have ordinarily been, driving to get it or having somebody to bring it to him. Okay. So what happened was, now I remember Greg told me once, he said, let's go eat. And I said, you'll eat there? You're not afraid to eat there? He said, well, we'll go. Yeah. He said, no, I'm not. What we'll do is we'll go and they don't know we're coming. So every time Greg and I would go out, wherever we went, we never made reservations. So they didn't know we were coming. The same thing happened when Greg was with Michael Jackson. When he was with Michael Jackson and Michael Jackson was going to trial for the case with those lying ass boys and their parents, he said that he hadn't eaten because he believed that they were trying to poison him. They were trying to kill him. And he said, Michael, don't worry about it. It ain't deep, don't trip. We'll go to the first hospital that we get to and just don't even let anybody know where we're going, including the driver. We'll just tell him, turn here, go there, and we'll be good. Case in point, if you are a drug addict, I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I would think you have to call your dope man ahead of time and say, I'm coming, or come here where I am, wherever your location is. But bottom line is, they gave him a hot dose. They gave Ali a hot dose. Now, generally, when it comes down to, thank you, Jonathan, a hot dose, you think death, because that's generally what a hot dose is. But a hot dose is actually, from my understanding, anything that is tainted in drugs arbitrarily, meaning any intentional tainting of the dope on purpose with intent to cause harm, not just laced with intent to do bodily harm or kill you, but in this case, that. But I say this because they keep saying that Muhammad Ali had all time that he had that he had give it to me. I mean, he has what's that stuff? The same thing that Michael J. Fox has. Somebody want to hit me in the comments with it? Well, MS, right? Muscular MS, is it MS? But whatever it was, that's exactly what Michael J. Fox has. But and everyone who has that disease basically looks like that of what Michael J. Fox looks like. Thank you, baby. Parkinson's. So Parkinson's looks like Michael J. Fox. That's what Parkinson's looks like. The way that Michael J. Fox looks. And Michael J. Fox from Family Ties. Anytime you see somebody with Parkinson's, it looks like Michael J. Fox. It doesn't look like what Ali was going through. What he was going through was that of the result of having received bad dope. And the reason why I never wanted to tell that is basically the same reason that other people who have done things in the past that I felt like I wanted to tell in my next book. And Greg was like, no, don't tell that. I was like, why? He said, listen, the people of color on this planet have so few heroes. Don't take that from them with this person. Don't do that. I said, okay. And I understood that, not just because he said it, but I really did. Some people, like I told you guys before, they only have that to hold on to. They only have so many role models, and they only have so many people they can look up to. Okay? So I'm saying all of this to say that it's so important to keep your vessel clean and not to be vulnerable to somebody else's, to be at anybody else's mercy. That's not good. Okay? All right. So my siblings, I'm going to put a little bit more sage in here. Y'all see, up and smoke to her. Okay. And I am going to go to my notes. Oh, it's really smoking now. It's actually literally white. The charcoal's turned white. That little, let me show you. Oh, shit. That right there is actually the charcoal. If I try to move it, can y'all see that? I don't want to knock that over. Just trust me, it's white like it would be if you were barbecuing. Okay, y'all, I'm going to go and look at my notes. And I'm going in. Let me see. Oh, another thing. They will take your ass out. They don't care if they can. And just like what's that man's name? Steve Jobs. The same. That's what they did to Steve Jobs. All the money that Steve Jobs made, all the technological advancement that he contributed to, they took him out. You have to make certain that you keep a unilateral relationship with the universe. Another one is Naya Rivera. Okay, I never really heard of Naya Rivera, but when she came up missing, I became extremely suspicious, and I didn't do any numbers. I didn't need to, because her name is Naya Rivera, and Rivera is spelled river, River, like river A, and that's what she died in, a man-made river or lake or body of water with her child. And she was on some show that I've never seen. I don't watch TV, but it's called some show that's called Glee. And on that show, she's notorious for having sang a song called "If I Die Young." Okay, and I'm thinking, if I die young, okay. And then something said, no, not okay. Read those lyrics. I read the lyrics, and it's if I die young, and she's saying in a body of water, I'll be next to my child. Come on, y'all. I don't know. They have to do certain types of sacrifices at certain times of the year. They do all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. You got to be careful. And they're taking kids. I'll show you guys the footage in another video where the WHO, the World Health Organization, are saying that they will have to do door-to-door checks to make certain that the children's welfare is safe. And if it isn't, they're going to take your kids literally out of the house. This is what they're saying. So it's really bad, guys. And yeah, I just want to make sure that I don't leave anything out. And I'm going to get started with, y'all don't want to see me. I know that. So I'm just going to back this easel up and write on it. First, I need to push this back. Okay, y'all, be patient with your girl. Okay? Be patient with your girl. I got all manner of surprises. I don't think you're going to be able to see me when I get up here, but it's all good, y'all. Okay. Okay. I'm going to write up in this area so y'all can see. But first, I'm going to make sure that y'all can see it. Okay. So I'm going to just let me know in the comments if y'all can see that. And if it's backwards, let me know if it's backwards or not. Let me know if that's backwards. Let me know if it's backwards and if you can see it, please. What y'all saying? Okay, Bradley said he remembers her singing that song. Great. Can you guys see the sign? And yes or no? Yes, you can see it? Okay. If it's backwards, put up the number 5. If it's backwards, okay, it's good. Good. It's good. Okay, great. It's good. That's what I'm talking about. I need y'all to work with me here now. He says good. Okay. All righty. There y'all, my people. Okay, one more thing. While I'm up here, I'm away from the microphone. So also let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if I'm talking loud. Can you hear me? because this mask got me muffled. Can you hear me? Tell me if you can hear me when I'm up there. Come on, babies. Let me know if y'all can hear me when I'm up there. Is it loud enough or clear enough? For real, y'all. I know you can see it. Tell me if you can hear me talking when I'm up there. You can hear. You're good. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Y'all my babies. Okay, good. All right. All right, y'all. Here we go. First of all, in this country, in this world, well, in this country, we all read from left. We read this way, from left to right. That's the way we read, from left to right. But actually, we're supposed to read from right to left. What do I mean by that? Okay. My name is Leah, and it's written from left to right, going in that direction. However, in Hebrew, my name will go that way. El, Lemit, Yud, Hey. It will go that way. That's my name in Hebrew. It goes that way. In fact, you even read that way. The books go in the other direction when you're reading. Why is this important? This is so cool, y'all. This is wood, not plastic. But anyway. This is important because, let me prove it to you. When you're doing math, we're totally on a number system. When you're doing math, simple math, 6 plus 3 is 9, 5 plus 2 is 7, 4 plus 1 is 5. No problem, right? However, if you go from right to left, this is the way you read. The way I just did it is the way you read Hebrew. And let's see what would happen if we do it from left to right, the way when we're reading English or American. 4 plus 1 is 5, 5 plus 2 is 7, 6 plus 3 is 9. Same thing, right? No problem. Watch this. It's okay until you run into this. 9 plus 1 is 10. Carry the 1, right? 8 plus 7 and 1 is 16. Carry the 1. 6 plus 4 is 10 plus 1 is 11. Okay? That's if you go the way that you're supposed to read, which is from right to left. Okay? Now watch this. Uh-oh. Now, if you do it the way that they do it here and in Europe, and go from right to left the way they got you reading, 6 and 4 is 10. Let's say you do 1, carry the 0. 8 plus 7 is 15. 5, carry the 1. 9, 10, 11. It would never be the right answer. Okay, because here, going the right way, 9 and 1 is 10. Carry a 1, 16, 11. That's the right answer if you go from right to left. But if you don't go from right to left and you go the way they have you reading from here to here, you would never get math correctly. Okay, why do we know that math is the dominating factor? How do we know that we should be going by what's happening in mathematics? I'm going to show you. And this is another reason why the 9 is divine. It's the only number in the universe that we know that there's only 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. We know these are the only numbers that exist, right? Okay. None of these other numbers, this is the only number that does this. I'm sorry. 9, 9, 9. Okay. 9. Okay. 9 plus 0, 9. 9 plus 9 is 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 plus 9 is 18, plus 9 more is 27. 2 plus 7 is 9. Down here, 9 plus 9 is 18, plus 3 is 27, plus 4 is 36. 3 plus 6 is 9. That's the only number that does that. Okay, well, now what? And there is no such thing as subtraction, because it says be fruitful and multiply, not add, or not be fruitful and divide, be fruitful and multiply. And multiplying is just to add addition on steroids. Multiplication is addition on steroids. Okay, so let's see it this way. Okay, so 81, right? And then that's 9. And then 9 times 9 is 81. I wanted to make sure you guys know what I'm saying. Times 9 more. 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 8 is 72. 7 plus 2 plus 9. 9, 9. 9, 9 equals 18 equals 9. Down here, that's 4 9s. Let me erase this part. 9 times 9 is 81. Remember that? Times 9. We got 1 times 9 is 9. 9 times 8 is 72. Times 9 more. 9 times 9 is 81. Oh. 9 times 2 is 18. Plus 2 is 6. 6 carry 2. So 14. 4, 5, 9. It can't get away from equaling 9. None of these other numbers do that. Only the 9 does that. Okay. Only the 9 equals 9 no matter what you do. The other numbers don't do that. No other number on the planet does that. Okay. Now, we've got this about to get good now. Now, I'm going to explain why we're in the position that we're in. Why people who look like this are in the position that we're in. Okay. This is what happened. We were in Africa, minding our business. And the white man came to Africa, stole us, brought us to, and scattered us all over the earth. No, that's not what happened. Okay. We were in Africa, and we basically did then what we do now. Fight. Okay. What were we fighting over? We were fighting over disparity of culture patterns. Okay. You like cauliflower, I like broccoli. You like cabbage, I like collard greens. He likes mustard greens. That's what the fight was about. A disparity of culture patterns. That's it. Okay? Now, I have to say this. all this COVID-19 and all these different things that are going on, they're going on because we are not supposed to be here. Okay, when I say we're not supposed to be here, what I mean is there are certain parts of the planet that are not indigenous to certain things. What I mean by indigenous is that there's certain parts of the world where some things grow and other things don't. Okay? For example, Europeans knew nothing about maize or corn until they got to North America. That's indigenous to North America, like the eagle. Certain things just are in certain parts of the world that aren't in other parts. Okay? Why is this important? That's the most important geographical fact on the planet because people live in North America, and we as people, human beings, or mankind, are not indigenous to North America. Why? Because everything that you need when you're born, you have it. That's why you're not born with any clothes on. You don't need them. You're supposed to be in Africa where it's hot. You're supposed to be in Africa where it's hot. Okay? Where you don't need clothes. It doesn't snow. You don't need that. It's hot as hell. Okay? All right. In North America, you got seasons. There are not 4 seasons all over the planet. Here, you got 4 seasons. And with these 4 seasons, it's too cold and it snows. It snows in Alaska. It snows in New York. That's why you never hear about overwhelming floods and hurricanes and shit like that happening in the motherland, because that's where we're supposed to be. That's where mankind is supposed to be living. Now, any of the shit that you hear happening now that's geographically adverse, or it seems like it's some type of part of the weather that's going adverse of what it should be, it's because of the mishandling of the planet, raping her. Okay? Now, they are forever giving us some shit. Okay? They've been giving us stuff since they got here with them smallpox and all that other stuff, and all that we didn't catch haphazardly. They gave us arbitrarily, like syphilis. Okay? Now they with this COVID-19. They forever giving us something. Okay, back up. Back to Africa. We're supposed to be there, not here where there's insurmountable numbers of earthquakes and tsunamis and all this type of shit. And then you got these different hurricanes. We're not supposed to be here. Okay? That's why that's happening. They brought us here. It wasn't inhabited. North America was not inhabited. Contrary to what you may believe, Native Americans have not always been here. That's an impossibility. That's what you call an impossibility. Okay? Solomon sent a tribe of Africans to North America because in his infinite wisdom, in Solomon's infinite wisdom, and Solomon is not a man, but that's another story, sent them here because in its infinite wisdom, Solomon knew that we were going to be brought here. Other Africans were going to be brought here, and we were going to need refuge. I think I talked about that before. We were going to need an oasis, and that they would provide that for us. Okay, but the Native Americans screwed around too. Okay, and that's why they got screwed over. Okay, but let me go back to Africa. We'll come back to them in a minute. So when we were in Africa, we were fighting over culture disparities, disparity of culture patterns. Okay, now we get to a point where, because of the fact, if you want a football team and you're playing, the first thing you need to do is hand out what? Uniforms. Because you're going to have scrimmage, you're going to have games, and you can't have everybody looking alike because you won't know who is on your team and who to hit, right? That's the same science with Africans. In Africa, when we were there, we had difference in culture patterns. So they started making separate tribes that were separate and distinct from one another because we all looked alike. Okay. Now, because we all looked alike and they didn't have uniforms, what do? They have to start making themselves distinct from one another, different, because everybody's black and naked, right? So they start putting plates in the lip. That's from the tribe of A, okay? Then they start putting rings in the nose. That's from that tribe. If your ear is this big, you gradually get it big. The bigger it is, that means the higher you are. Status. Status is the violation. Status is the violation of God. Then they started doing cuts in the flesh to the point where whoever had the most daunting or egregious differentiation, they kept trying to outdo each other. Oh, I got a plate in the lip. Oh, I got scars on my face. They put lines in certain places, just distinguishing marks on their bodies to show what tribes they were from. That is a violation of God. Okay? So, I'm going to tell you. Anyway, so violating the temple. Okay? So, because of that, please forgive that. Because of that, God said, okay, you like scars? You like that? Okay, when you get over there with that boy over there in North America, he gonna show you what a scar is. Okay? So all this is going on before white men ever got to Africa. Not that what they did is okay, I'm just breaking it down. Before they ever stepped foot on African soil, they were warring. Okay? Because scientists went over to Africa and excavated, when they dig up. And when they excavated, they found weapons. Okay? Not the weapons like we have now of mass destruction, obviously, but bows, arrows, debris, slingshots, spears, just weaponry. Okay? And it wasn't for other people because there wasn't anybody else but us. Okay? So who will we using them on? Each other, unfortunately. Okay? The same way we do now. All right. So all this is going on, and the universe is like, can't have that. You guys are all messed up. Okay? So we got what? Okay, let's just say culture patterns, diversity of culture patterns there. Okay? That's what we got. We got diversity. That's the first stripe. Diversity of culture pattern. And the universe is like, these boys right here. And whatever you do when you transgress, it has to come back on you in equal measure. It can't be over what you did, and it can't be under. It has to be measure for measure. So time keeps rolling on, and not only are we warring against one another, you know what we did next, right? Okay, so we got slavery right here. Okay? So we actually started enslaving one another. Okay? How did that come about? Well, not everybody's an entrepreneur. Not everybody's a farmer. Some people just do not have what it takes to make it happen, to make a go of it. Okay? So they would say, I'll lend my services to you, if you give me food for the winter for me and my family. And not only that, but me and my family will serve you. Okay? We'll all do this for you. Okay? Come on in. Indentured servitude. Okay? Nobody was being beaten. Nobody was being raped, violated, or anything like this. But it's still a violation, and they knew that. Okay? You can't make it, you try to make it. All you don't work, that's a cop out. All you can't grow, you don't eat. That should have been the rule. That was the rule until they start messing around with it. Okay? Then, when all of this going on, it was bad, and you get karma. But when the ultimate violation happened up here, adultery, having sex with somebody else's wife, okay? There's certain things that take place in the universe that are so corrupt that it just can't be reckoned with. The universe can't reconcile it. You can't reconcile it, okay? If you can't reconcile it, it has to regurgitate the whole situation, okay? She can't take it. Okay, now, then what happened? Okay, we start to destroy ourselves down here. These three things cause us to start destroying ourselves, which is the imagination. What did we do? We started, now you got all of this chaos going on, right? You got all of these matters of chaos going on. And then the shit jumped off. Okay, it really went down. What happened? We got creative. Okay? Now, because of these three things taking place, okay, this right here, having sex with somebody else's wife, this was only able to take place because these two things happening, okay, because it was only women on the planet. These two things taking place caused women to have birth defects. And with them came a surplus of testosterone and a decrease of estrogen, which causes an elongation of the clitoris, and it protrudes. And what would have been the lining of the uterus comes out, and that's the foreskin that we know for to be circumcision. That's why men have nipples that are moot. Okay? So, what are we going to do with this species? Okay? Women used the brute form of mankind for battle, protection, basically what they do now. Okay? That's what we use them for. We use men for, or however you want to look at it. Okay. And it kept becoming more and more masculine, if you will. Okay. When we produced this deficient deficient female, when we produced this deficient female, a lot of them started accumulating. More of them started accumulating, but never more than the original. That's why even to this day, there are more women on the planet than men. Okay? Men are a hybrid of a female. They're a hybrid. Okay, well, what happened? This species, the men, got to a point where they started being inventors and doing things that they shouldn't do. Well, what did they do? They literally started playing around with what you would think would be a prehistoric time when nothing under the sun is new. And the things that they're doing now, they were doing then. They were just calling it something different. The same way that they do GMOs and genetically modified organisms. They were doing that back then. That's nothing new. So they go in their lab, and anybody who's a 5%er or a Muslim, they're familiar with this information. And they literally created or made. Creation is when you bring something about from nothing. Made or making something is when you bring something about from something that already exists. So they made man. What is man? The white man. They made him in a lab. That's why it's called to this day manufacturing or manufacture, making man. That's what they did. They created the white man with dog. That's with some. I don't want to get into that because I don't want to leave this. But a dog was one of the parts of the DNA that they used, and to this day, that's the reason why dogs and white people have the same type of hair. Hair tells the story of all manner of things since the beginning of time, even to this day with DNA. All you need is a strand of hair, tell your person's whole story, tell you their entire history. With hair, you can tell a person's race without even seeing the person. If you see a hair in the shower at the gym and it's curly enough, you know it belongs to one of us. If it's straight, you know it belongs to them. Hair tells the story, and it always has. Okay? Same thing with dogs. You've never seen a nappy dog, and that's why. Okay. Now, when they manufactured white folks, okay, I'm going to fast forward. I'm going to try to work backwards. I've told you before, they are not creative. They don't know how to be creative. They're not creators. They retell stories in a different way. That's where the story of Frankenstein comes from. He makes Frankenstein, he's a different color, right? He is independent. They brought the Bride of Frankenstein from him. And the biggest part of all, Frankenstein turns on Dr. Frankenstein, right? Okay, that's the same story. The black man made the white man in a manufacturer, and then after he made the man in the manufacturer, he turned on him. The white man turned on us, and is still turning on us to this day. And he's a different color. Frankenstein is what color? Green, right? Totally different color. Okay? Let me see if somebody's saying something in the comments. There are studies that show when Africans eat European food, they get diseases. Yes, we do. Same eyes too. Okay, now, if you guys have any questions, throw them in the comments as I'm going along. But anyway, so this is the story that happened. That's the reason why it's 2020, the year 2020. The reason why it's the year 2020 is because they're saying that it's been 2,020 years since who they call the Jesus, the Christ came. Okay? But from the time that from the story of Adam and Eve, from the time that Adam and Eve came to the planet, it's been 6,000 years. Okay? We know damn well this planet is older than 6,000 years. But the reason why they say that is because that white boy that wrote the Bible, he is only, where's my marker? He is literally 6,000 years old. That is the birth of man. Not mankind, man. Again, that's the reason why when they went to the moon, when they landed, they said, what? One step for man, what giant step for mankind? Well, what's the difference? That's it. That's the difference, and that's why they said it. Because they can't lie to you, but they can deceive you. Okay? Okay, moving along. I know I might sound crazy. That's okay. It's a process. And if you don't believe it, that's okay too. You'll be back. Okay. Now, moving right along. Dr. Layer's out of time. Moving on along. The reason why I'm saying I'm out of time is because I don't want y'all to get bored with me or get tired. Okay, I know it's Sunday. Okay. Now, because of the fact that black men manufactured white men, the biggest transgression was in doing that was to have it turn on them, which it has done. Okay? So, once we seen this nigga, he's fucking wicked. You got to go. You can't stay here in Africa. You can't stay here doing that. You know, the things that they do. You know, so we said, okay, y'all, go to the cave. They go to the cave. They still doing stuff. Bestiality and this they do now, you know, messing with babies and all that. Oh, no. Y'all got to go up into the mountains with that mess. Okay? But us being who we are, we're not killers. I'm not a killer. I'm not going to kill you. You know what I'm saying? That's just not who I am. You know, because they know that they're still our offspring, because you have to have a gene variant in order to get them here, which belongs to us. because you still, when they started playing with the genes in the factory, there's certain things you got to have. And there is a mankind, a real human gene in them that comes from us. And there's also a gene variant that only the brown woman has, not even a black man, that only we have. And that's how you know we were here first. Okay. All right. I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to keep going because I'm like an hour and 25 minutes in, but I have a whole lot more information. So they come over here. Okay. So after we cast them out because they were doing wicked stuff, we gave them enough of what they needed to survive. Okay. We give that to them and they go to what we now know to be Europe. Okay. So they get there and they doing all manner of crazy stuff. They come back to Africa after a lot of different, trading and this and that. And they come back and they're like, wow, how do you get that nigga to do what you say do? They see a man telling another man what to do. We back to the indentured servitude. They never seen anything like that, right? What y'all doing? What's that about? Is that your kid? No. He looks a little old to be your son. That kind of conversation. Y'all, you know how it goes. Oh no, that's my indentured servant. Well, what's that? Oh well, he owed me something. He couldn't make it and make a go of it. Him and his family are here, and what they're going to basically do is stay here until they work it off, or until the Jubilee, the 7th year, until the Jubilee, whichever one comes first. Even if it was a day, if the Jubilee came before the debt was paid, they had to let them go on the Jubilee. And they kept that promise. They did let them go. And John said, keep going. That's so sweet. Let them go in the Jubilee, right? Okay. So now, of course, the white man is going to do something more wicked than what he's seeing. Okay. You know that. They got to do that. So he's thinking in his mind, well, I can take this science back home, right? So he goes back to Europe and he does the exact same thing he saw in Africa, except when you read your history books, they'll tell you that they were doing indentured servitude also, but they weren't. They were doing, it was slavery over there. They never had indentured servitude in Europe, ever. It was always slavery, okay? It was always the serfs serve, the hierarchy. So anyway, so the problem that they came across in Europe goes back to the uniform. Everybody looks alike, right? And they would run away because they were being beaten and mistreated and starved and all manner of stuff and raped and all the, not as bad as, of course, what they were doing. They was doing some wicked shit. Wicked is wicked. So they figured, what if we could get some brown slaves, no matter how far they run, they'll still be black, So they go from Europe to the motherland, right? So they go from there. Okay, well, they think they slick, and they are. You got to give it to them, right? They start trading gold, okay, and whatnot, different things, ivory, this sort of thing. That's not really what they wanted, okay? Remember in the movie, I saw it with Greg, Django Unchained, when the German dude was telling Jamie Foxx, if you want to buy something, you don't tell that he won't talk to you if you tell him that you want to buy a little peasant girl for a few, dollars. But if you tell him you want to buy, a mandingo for a lot of money, then. So what they did was they used that science. They used that science saying that they wanted to trade to get in, to get a relationship. And then once they established a relationship, they started saying, well, can we buy some of those people? Hell no, you can't buy none of these people. That was the first reaction. Okay. Still not satisfied. So they keep going for like hundreds of more years, back and forth, got a relationship. So they come and they start telling them about the great opportunities that they have in Europe, okay, and this sort of thing. And a dude might come from over here and see a girl over here and get interested in her, and they want to, mate and get married. Okay, so they mate and get married and go from here to here. And let's just take a flight from reality and say he was good to her and they have a baby. Okay, so they start establishing what they know to be a mulatto. Okay, so once they start getting superfluous, or many a number, if you will, I shouldn't say superfluous, many a number, they start going over here. And they see what a mixed breed looks like. But she's black, right? Or he's black. And they're like, wow, it's not necessarily beautiful, but it's different. You know what I'm saying? It's something we've never seen before. Okay? And they love them in a sense of security with these mulattoes and start traveling back and forth. Right? Which when they first came over there, they should have blown their ass back up in the water, but that's another story too. And North America is over here. Okay, but anyway, further away, but you know what I mean. So anyway, they keep going back and forth, back and forth. So by this time, they lie as they do in Europe and tell them they got great opportunities over here. They got that, they got education and this, that, and the other. I'm like, oh really? So they start allowing people to migrate from here to here. But when they migrate from here to here, they never come back. And they're like, damn, they must really be living good. They love it so much they don't come back. But what they don't know is that these black people that came over here, the ones that went from here to here, they didn't come back. They didn't come back because they didn't let them come back. Not because they loved it. They lied. Okay? Told them there was all these great opportunities. It was run down, beat down, not built up, all kinds of stuff. And don't get me wrong, I'm skipping thousands of years, but I'm trying to give you the nutshell version of it. So, okay, they come back with that religion bullcrap. Okay, when they come back with that religion bullcrap, they basically, in a nutshell, traded an empty box, because that's what religion is, or a book, traded that for all of their real secrets. Okay, like your Santeria. Because what we know as Santeria and what they call Illuminati and high magic is simply just the way that they executed life in Nigeria and places in North Africa and South Africa. But after they got through diluting it, the only one that kept it the purest in terms of how they did it was Nigeria, or in the Yoruba tradition. So, okay, they keep going back and forth. And clearly, that all the slavery was going on over here way, way before they brought us over here, because they hadn't even went from Europe to, well, Columbus hadn't even got lost yet when he was looking for India. Okay, that hadn't even happened yet. So they're going back and forth. Okay, moving right along. Then they get to a point where, as they are doing their little commerce and things like that, they start realizing what's going on. But these people have absorbed so much of them that they just start basically just letting it go and selling. Somebody becomes king or whatever over here, Pharaoh, whatever you want to call it, and they literally start selling their own people. We sold each other over here. So keep in mind, strike that. African Americans were the last group of brown people to come over as slaves. We were the last ones. And then there was an edict in Europe that said there cannot be another slave ship that comes from Africa as an export imported into anywhere. And if you do, we're going to blow it out the water. They wanted to put a stop to the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, they wanted to put a stop to it. I think I'm doing a doggone good job explaining this fast. Okay. They wanted to put an end to all of it. Okay, so as they wanted to put an end to all of it, and the last slaves to come came out of West Africa over here. When they were on the way, they stopped at these little islands over here: Cuba, Panama, South America, places like that, right? Okay, well, here's what happened. This is why we confused right now. The first slaves to leave Europe, or to be taken from Africa into Europe, are like your Idris Elbas, okay? And all those people who have those, European accents that everybody thinks is so cool, but they look like us. Their ancestors went first in the trade, in the transatlantic slave trade. They went first, and they were slaves way longer, so long that by the time the first slave stepped foot in North America, slavery was ending over here. Okay, so when the universe decreed that due to all of that activity we had going on, that we had to pay for it in karma, let's say it said we had to do 400 years in slavery. If we had to do 400 years in slavery for our karma, everybody did 400 years, but not at the same time. They did their 400 years first, and therefore we're coming out of it when we were going in, or it was kind of intersected. You feel me? Okay. So anyway, when they started coming out of West Africa, before you get to these little islands, before you get to North America, you get to South America before you get to North America. So what did they do? They started dropping slaves off here first. The boat, just like a bus, it stopped here first, dropped black folks off from here, and kept going till it got to South America, and then Central America, and then finally North America. Okay? Well, the problem was that Latin America was colonized by Spain. When Latin America down here was colonized, Latin America was colonized by Spain, the first thing they're going to do to you is what? Take your language. They take your language and give you theirs. Well, what's the language of Spain? Spanish. That's why Latin America speaks Spanish to this day. Okay? That's why you got Cuba speaking Spanish, Guatemala, Guadalajara, all of those places, Argentina, Chile, they all speak Spanish because it was colonized. Central and South America was colonized by Spain. Whereas we were colonized over here in 12 colonies by Europe, who spoke English. So what they going to do? The first thing they're going to do is what? Put their language on you, right? They're going to put their language on you first. So we were speaking English from England. And they're speaking Spanish, colonized by Spain. But what? But we all came from Africa. They just dropped us off in different places. Why is this important? Because the ones that they dropped off in the islands came from a part of Africa that was concentrated with Santeria. Okay, Santeria, which you have the different, what they call now, the Santeras, or they have the different things that I tell you about, like they know when to pray, they know how to pray, they know what spells to do and things like that. That case, you see, different parts and different cultures of Africa did certain things. They did that. Some people also, everybody had a function. Okay, keeping everybody, the high priest kept everybody in order, kept everybody cleansed spiritually. Okay, but once they came and started doing all this, everybody got spread out and we couldn't help each other. But they got sent up in here. So when they got sent to South and Central America, they were there, particularly Haiti, okay, and they got invaded by France. Napoleon invaded them. And when they invaded, they got their ass brought to them. Hey, Chastity, they got their ass brought to them. Okay? They literally won. At that time, Napoleon and France was the mightiest army on the planet, and it invaded Haiti, a third world island, if you will. And when they invaded Haiti, they started doing that stuff on them, and they whipped their butts with some spoons. They sharpened spoons and won. And Napoleon couldn't figure it out. And rather than Napoleon saying charge, he said, get back on the boat, get your ass back over to France so we can figure out what's going on. So when they got back to France, they consulted their scientists. Who were their scientists? Those Africans that they brought from Africa back in the day. He said, what is this? What's going on? And they said, it's voodoo. And he said, how did they beat us? They said, it's voodoo. Voodoo is a French word that means spiritual and Adam. Okay? Now, why is this important? Because Adam is to this day, I don't know, y'all can see this too well. To this day, let me see if this is right. To this day, it's not, hold on. Y'all be patient. Okay, to this day, all right, Adam is a single, it's the smallest form of existence known in the planet. And when they gather together, they become molecules and go on. And I'm not going to give you a science lesson, but anyway, atom, which is the root word of atomic, like atomic bomb, right? Okay, well, if you are an atheist, you believe in science, right? So if you believe in science, that means you believe that life starts with an atom. If you're religious, it means that you believe that life starts with an atom. But they can't lie to you. We know life starts here. But what do? They turn around and say, okay, we'll tell them this bullshit ass story called Adam and Eve, right? We'll tell them a bullshit ass story called Adam and Eve, and they can't say we're lying to them because we said Adam. We said Adam, right? They some KD bastards, but that's another story too. Okay. I'm not going to tell you what you already know. So, moving right along. They defeat France. When they defeat France and they figure out that it's voodoo, which means spiritual Adam, later on, after the Louisiana Purchase, France owns Louisiana. It's like it's colonized while Europe owns the rest of North America that has been inhabited. Okay, so with the Louisiana Purchase, because the French have purchased it, they own Louisiana to this day. That's the reason why voodoo is so concentrated in Louisiana. Voodoo, that's what they're doing over there. Okay, now here's the thing. You go to church and everything that they teach you or tell you has been taught to them based on Christianity, which is a white religion that we knew nothing about until after we left Africa. Okay? This is significant simply because the first thing that they want you to know is that in order to get to God, you got to go through Jesus. And they tell you that voodoo is wicked and evil. Now, here's the thing. If I can convince you, don't y'all forget to hit that like and subscribe button and everything. Comment. If I can convince you that voodoo is wicked and evil and you shouldn't mess with it and it's spooky. Meanwhile, while you believe in that, I can be over here what? Doing it. As long as I can convince you of that, that's what I can do. Okay? And that's what they did. They convinced us that it was spooky and shouldn't be touched. Meanwhile, their asses were over there doing it and still are. Okay? Now, here's the thing. When some of us were taken to Central and South and Latin America and knew all of these different spells and incantations and stuff like that, some of them knew it, but not all of them. Okay, so that put them in a very precarious situation. Okay, so they started figuring out what was going on and what we knew. So they figured the best thing to do was not allow them to practice their religion. They couldn't practice Santeria. Okay, that's what it was called, what it's called now. Okay, so what did they do? They said, okay, this is what we do. They said that we can only practice Christianity. Okay, so at that time, they were called, and they didn't already brainwashed us into believing certain sounds and things are bad. So just look at this situation with an open mind. This is what they're called. They're called Booga Booga gods. Okay. When we left Africa, they were called the Booga Booga gods. Okay. And Booga Booga, Booga Booga, it's a beat. Booga Booga, Booga Booga. Nobody really could speak or talk or had a language. It was all about vibrations and beats, when we left Africa. So they were called the Booga Booga gods, right? Okay. They said, you can't worship no Booga Booga gods up in here because y'all going to take us over, right? So they said, okay. So they had to get crafty. So what did they do? The Catholicism believes in what they call saints. Okay, so they had saints, right? So they got real crafty. The Africans did, and they said, what we'll do is we'll disguise every single Booga Booga god with the name of a saint. Okay, so whereas you have like Oshun, Olagua, and different gods like that, they said, okay, we'll call him Saint Anthony. We'll call it Saint Maria, Saint Luetha, which means Saint of Death, right? Okay, so they disguised the Booga Booga god so they wouldn't, with different names, so they wouldn't know what they were doing. So once they did that, they got enough velocity, speed, enough momentum, if you will, in order to get a handle on the white folks. Okay, so much so they didn't go through the egregious slavery that African Americans went through in North America. Okay, now keep in mind the Spanish conquest. The Spanish colonized Latin America. Okay, so since they colonized Latin America, they speak Spanish because they came out of slavery in a sense earlier than we did, and because it was so concentrated, because they're small islands where you got this big old mass land of North America, that means that they were able to mix a lot more concentratedly than we did, because we were slaves up until the time of emancipation and we had absolutely no autonomy. That's important because it helps you to understand why most of them look more white, even though we were raped as well. More of them had the room to mix with them than to, because see, you couldn't get married. A black person couldn't marry a white person in North America. But down there in the places where they spoke Spanish, like your Cubas, your Panamas, and places like that, your Chiles and places like, they could do whatever they wanted to do, basically. Or it wasn't as bad, let's say, as it was in North America. Okay, that's the reason why, because of the drastic mixing, that they had an opportunity to whitewash the Africans in their breeding more so than they were able to do in North America. Okay, they were able to whitewash them. That's the reason why they look whiter than we do, that they're, or that African Americans do, that they have straight hair. Now you can find some African Americans that look like that, of course. Okay. But the Africans that went down there look more white because they had a better opportunity to wash out to whitewash out the black more so than we did. So much so that you got Latin Americans looking white, like Jennifer Lopez. You got them speaking Spanish. It has gotten so bad and so intense that they, to this day, it went on for so long that they look at themselves as a completely, totally different race. That we look at each other as a totally different race. Well, people, what I'm going to do is wrap it up there. And the next video, I will tell you guys, my next YouTube video, I'm going to tell you guys about the Booga Booga Gods and what each one does. But I don't want to leave you with anything. I like you to feel full every time you come to this channel. So I'm going to tell you guys something every time you come to the YouTube channel. Okay, here it is. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys something. Put a pin in it. All right. Because of some of the things and limitations that YouTube has, I had to open up a Patreon account, and I will put the link in the description box of where to get to the Patreon account. Okay. I'm not sure. I think it's like $5 or something like that. But trust me, you'll get a lot from it. I'm going to tell you guys about how to manifest quick, how to manifest money quick, how to manifest love, what to do real quick. Okay. I'm going to give you something right now because I don't want you guys to feel like you're not getting anything here, because this is where I started. I'll be here for as long as I can. And that's this. There is a Santero Orisha. There's an Orisha that has been renamed Saint Anthony. Saint Anthony, all these saints, Orishas, have different functions. Okay? They have different functions, but each one has a multifunctional performance. One of the functions of Saint Anthony is Saint Anthony is the saint of lost things. If you lose anything, your car keys, your child lost, if you lose your mind, I don't care what you lose. If you lose it, this is what you say. Dear Saint Anthony, my fill in the blank, my blank can't be found. So it's Dear Saint Anthony, my blank can't be found. So let's say you lost your car keys. Dear Saint Anthony, my car keys can't be found. Please let them come around. That's what you say. And I guarantee you, it'll come up. You'll find whatever it is you're looking for. I promise you that. I put that on every confidence I have. And if you ever lose something and don't find it, you make sure you call me and let me know, because I want to know what the hell going on. So you say that and it'll come up. They've got, oh my God, anything you can think of. You calling them Orishas, they don't play getting you what it is you calling for. And I'll give you guys other ones like that for whatever it is you might need. They got everything from losing something to finding a parking space, literally. Okay, so I say that to say, Bradley laughing. Yes, so please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. I love you so much. I'm going to put as much information as I can to make your life as fruitful and easy as it can possibly be. I got something on my heart that I wanted to remember, but hopefully it'll come to me before I leave the video or stop the video. However, again, I want to thank everybody who has gone to PayPal, Cash App, Google Pay. All the links are near the video in the description box. You guys can donate. I appreciate it. Everybody who already has Please continue to do so. I thank you for what you have given so far because, again, you don't get anything from doing this other than fulfillment, and that's priceless. You guys just don't know how priceless it is to feel wonderful for all the wonderful things that you guys do. I've been doing readings. The people who I've done so far have been very happy with the readings that I've done with the tarot, and it's that's been wonderful. Again, I will give you guys the uh, information in the description box about the Patreon and how to get there. And you guys are going to be extremely, extremely elevated in the things that you get there. You know, because I want you to feel like you're getting something. And again, I can't do it here for obvious reasons. So please do that. And let me see. I wanted to tell you guys about the Santero. I did that. I wanted to give you guys at least one thing here, which is the St. Anthony prayer. Do that. If you guys need me, you can email me at Leah Japs, Leah Japs at hotmail.com. I will get back to you. If I haven't gotten to you already, it's because there's a lot of people, but I definitely will. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. I see 8 people in the chat, but 2 thumbs up. That's not good. Somebody hit me with a thumbs up right quick if you haven't done so already. Something else I wanted to tell you. Make sure you guys do your best to stay with a good diet, okay? And I should be making a video on Patreon. Oh, another thing, I think I told you. Yeah, the other video, I took it down from YouTube. Thank you. Was that you, Chastity? You gave me a thumbs up right quick. That the other video that I did, I put it up on Patreon. If you guys want to see it. In the meantime, may you be blessed. Continue to elevate. Oh, before I go, does anybody have any questions before I go that I can answer? I want to read some of the comments. Oh, I wanted to, let me look on this list. Let me tell y'all something. It's a lot of strange things happening now. With the Kanye thing, he's like waking up because he's not taking that medication or whatever it is. But I'm gonna tell y'all something, and this is the truth. I don't feel sorry for Kanye. I don't want to hear it. That's what happens when you mess with them white women. It's never okay. It's a bad idea. It's been a bad idea since it's been an idea, and it's going to be a bad idea as long as it's an idea. I'm going to make sure that I touched everything that I wanted to touch on. Okay. I think I got it. Yeah. Yeah. And remember, the only difference between success and failure, or A and an F, is discipline. Discipline is extremely important. Okay? So I'm assuming no one has any questions. Thank you. Be well. Yeah. So you guys, again, hit that like button. I see 5 people, several people actually in the chat, but I only see 3 thumbs up. You guys are going to make me think you don't love me. Okay? You don't appreciate me. Wait, I think somebody said Kanye has always been obsessed with white women. The thing about, I'm going to say this. The thing about Kanye is that he's so twisted. He made that video, I think Gold Digger or something like that, where he's talking about, and something about a white woman. And he said in his on his Twitter not long ago that Get Out, the movie Get Out, was about him. He believes that movie was about him. Well, if you think that movie is about you, wouldn't it behoove you to get out? And he believes that chick, I can't think of her name. I don't know her name. Is trying to do whatever she's trying to do. That's what they do. That's what they do. Okay, please do. Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't know what that boy, I think I told you guys how the Illuminati works. You don't necessarily get in it. They put you in it and tell you in it and I already killed your so and so. I already raped you this, that, and that's why, that kind of thing. But anyway, okay guys. I love you all so much. So be well, and I will literally see you soon.